wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera, namo buddhaya, salam kebajikan. On behalf of Indonesia Carbon Exchange, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to today's exciting virtual open house on Indonesia International Carbon Trading. I'm Chris and I will be the host for today. As we all know, ladies and gentlemen, on 20th January of 2025, Indonesia has officially launched its international carbon trading scheme through the IDX Carbon platform and marking the listing of Indonesia's first authorized carbon credits available for global trade. Some of you here may already read news coverage on the event and may also have been invited to participate in the inauguration. But I believe most of the global audience still have thought-provoking questions about this international trading scheme in Indonesia. Therefore, we are happy to invite you today, ladies and gentlemen, and together we will explore and discuss more on how Indonesia carbon credits can be traded globally through IDS Carbon platform. And we will also take a look deeper on two of the projects offered for global trading in IDX Carbon. We already have a fantastic speakers today coming from IDX Carbon, as well as the representatives from project developers who have their project listed in IDX Carbon now. But before we dive into the sessions, we would like to encourage everyone to actively participate in this virtual open house. We'll have a Q&A sessions towards the end. And so please feel free to submit your question. If you have a question in the middle of the presentation, just put it in the Q&A box in your Zoom interface. We will discuss about your question later. So without further ado, let's get started, everyone. I'm thrilled to introduce our first speaker. We have Pak Edwin Hartanto here. Pak Edwin is the head of carbon trading business development in IDX and IDX Carbon. He will kick off the discussion with an introduction to international carbon trading in Indonesia, as well as the trading platform of IDX Carbon. So, Pak Edwin, when you're ready, the time is yours.
Okay, thanks so much, Pak Chris. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Well, I would like to share a little bit about the official Indonesia International Carbon Trading. And since Pak Chris already shared to you about what is the mechanism on the international carbon credit from Indonesia, maybe some of you are already waiting for this. So without further ado, let's dive into a little bit of more detail as the background of the carbon trading. Well, carbon trading, we are familiar with the carbon trading, but Indonesia start to regulate the carbon trading more thoroughly since we ratified the Paris Agreement in 2016. And then after the ratification, we set our enhanced NDC, to which we have the target of emission reduction to 31.89% to 43.20% in 2030, and with the net zero target of 2060 or sooner. And Ministry of Environment of Indonesia as the national focal point for this NDC target, then cascade the target to at least 5 sectors for now. On the left side of this slide, you can see that there are 5 sectors in which energy, forestry, two of the biggest contributor for this emission reduction, along with waste, IPP or manufacture, and agriculture. So since we ratified the Paris Agreement in 2021, we produced what we call Presidential Regulation number 98 about carbon economic value or the carbon pricing. And to achieve our NDC, there's a mitigation action, adaptation, as well as the carbon pricing, in which one of them consists of carbon trading, along with result-based payment, carbon tax, and other mechanism. And from that regulation, then the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, then now it is Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Forestry. We split the ministries since the new government. Well, previously, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry produced a regulation called Regulation Number 21 of 2022 related to the implementation of the carbon pricing or the carbon economic value. And the regulation said that the trades can be done domestically and internationally, and it takes two forms of market mechanism. First one is the emission trading system or the allowance trading, and the second one is the credit trading. And the carbon trading could be done through the carbon exchange or the IDX carbon, as well as bilaterally, a B2B between the seller and the buyer. Another regulation, it is the Law Number 4 of 2023 on financial sector development and reinforcement. It is the Omnibus Law of Finance in Indonesia. And the carbon unit is defined as securities under this law. So that's why the OJK or Indonesia Financial Service Authority is the one who oversee the trades of the carbon trading, in which us, Indonesia Stock Exchange, is acting as the operator. So this is the two types of carbon markets right now in Indonesia. The first one, on the left, you can see the emission trading system, the ETS one, the quota one, the allowance one. So since 2023, we have run this ETS system, especially by the electricity sectors. So in 2023, 99 power plant already regulated under this ETS, and last year there were 146 power plant, and this year should be more than 600 power plant regulated under this quota scheme. But these trades only limited to those who we deem as the compliance companies. So only compliance companies, they can trade within the ETS. But on the right side, on the carbon crediting or the carbon offset credits, it can be traded by anyone. It can be produced by anyone who has the green project. So from the green project then can be issued of the emission reduction certificate, or we call it SPE, Certificate Pengurangan Emisi, emission reduction certificate, in which the SPE then can be sold, the credits can be sold to any company, to any parties who is willing to buy. So these are the two kind of trading that is currently regulated in Indonesia. And specifically for the carbon credit, for the SPE GRK, or for the certificate of emission reduction, it is issued by the Ministry of Environment. Previously, it's Ministry of Environment and Forestry, but now it's Ministry of Environment under our registry, under our Indonesian National Registry called National Registry System or System Registry Nasional. We call it SRN. So the SRN act as the Indonesia National Registry, and all the carbon project that is located within Indonesia territory, they needs to go to the SRN first, because we are the nation, because the SRN is the national registry system. So how the carbon credit then can be issued? Well, first one, of course, the project developer, the project proponent needs to register and fill the data, and then they need to produce what we call the document of mitigation action plan, or DRAM. This is actually the PDD, the project design document by the project developer. And then the DRAM document needs to be validated by an independent VVB, validation and verification body in Indonesia. So after that, the project developer needs to create this mitigation action report. So if previously it's an action plan, now it is the action report for the realized action that will be calculated and will be verified, needs to be verified by independent PVB. So there are two documents that needs to be validated and or verified before that can get submitted into Ministry of Environment, and Ministry of Environment then will doing another final checking before issue the SPE or the carbon credits. And after the carbon credits been issued, then the project developer can bring it to the IDX carbon to be sold on the market. So this is the difference and the segregation of duties between the SRM and the exchange. The exchange, the IDX carbon, under supervisory of OJK or our FSA, Financial Service Authority, we are acting as the secondary market. The primary market in which the credits are created, are issued, it is fallen under SRN territory, fallen under Ministry of Environment territory. So IDS Carbon will not intervene with the creation of the carbon credit. And this is the carbon market design right now. The sectoral trading, this is for the allowance trading. And the allowance trading, depending on the sectoral regulation, they can also allow the carbon credit as the fulfillment of the compliance. For example, the electricity sectors has been running the cap and trade since 2023, and they are allowing carbon credit as long as the carbon credit coming from the energy sectors to be used by the compliance companies as the fulfillment for their compliance. And other than sectoral trading, we got what we call cross-sectoral trading. This is for the carbon credit, for the FPE in general, that can be traded by the sellers and buyer without restriction. But for the non-authorized carbon credit, it can only be traded domestically. And the newest one on the bottom of the slide, you can see the carbon credit with the authorization, or what we call authorized carbon credit. Well, this carbon credit can be traded both domestically and internationally. That is because since 20th of January 2025, finally, Indonesian government authorized the carbon credit. Some of the carbon credit is authorized by the government. And it means that Indonesia will relinquish the NDC claim from the carbon credit that's been authorized. So Indonesia will not claim the NDC. Then the authorized carbon credit can be free to be traded domestically and internationally. So this is the example of the carbon projects that has been getting the authorization from the government. Currently, there are 5 projects that's been authorized, and in which the details could be later be explained by my colleagues after this from the PLN as the project developer, but I will explain a bit about the scheme of this authorization and how it works on this slide. Maybe for example, I would like to point out on the top project. This is a project of power plant natural gas belong to the PLN, and from this project, the Ministry of Environment issue 2.7 million ton of carbon credit, and out of those 2.7 million, about 595,000 ton is authorized to be sold internationally. So what does it mean? It means that Indonesia will only claim about 2.2 million of carbon credit as Indonesia's NDC, and Indonesia will letting go of 595,000 of the carbon credit to the buyer. So whoever buy the green bar of this project, the green bar of this carbon credit, the 595,000, they can claim it if they are willing or want to do so. And now, this is what we call the standardized product. So I would like just to focusing on the red box over here, and we can see that out of those 5 projects, we categorize them as the TBS, tech-based solution with authorization. So it is IDTBS authorized and IDTBS authorized for renewable energy. So on the right side of the slide, we can see that the operation of mini hydropower plant belongs to the IDTBS authorized renewable energy, and the last price is about 144,000 rupiah, or about 8.8 US dollar per ton. And for the IDTBS authorized, the other 4 projects is belong to this category, and then the last price is about 96,000 rupiah, or about 5.9 US dollar per ton. So we see that the IDTBS renewable energy got a slightly higher price than the IDTBS authorized. And we got 4 available trading mechanism on IDS carbon. So this is for whoever willing or interested to buy those credit. Well, Once they got registered, they have access to these four mechanisms. First one is for the auction, in which the seller can conduct an auction, and then they set the floor price, and the prospective buyer can submit the bid for the auction. But as of now, the authorized carbon credit is not auction. So where they can be found on the regular trading. This is a stock-like mechanism in which you will see the market price, and you can see whoever or wants to buy or sell this credit. Also, we got the negotiated trading. So if you are willing to buy or you want to buy maybe a bit higher volume, and maybe you want to ask for discount from the sellers, then you can do the negotiation outside of the exchange. And once you get a deal, then you can bring the transaction on the exchange, and we will settle the transaction for you. We will make sure that the buyers own the money and the sellers own the credit. And then we will do the transaction and we will swap the assets the right way. And the last one is the marketplace. So this is the original form of the carbon credits platform. And marketplace, well, this is for those who wants to, put the projects over here with the desirable price of the seller. So the seller can set the price. So this form mechanism provides flexibility for the buyers as well as the sellers. This is a resume of our trading activity from since our launching date in September 2023 to the last week, and there are more than 1.3 million carbon credits been traded, and out of those 1.3 million, about 429,000 been retired. And we can see the retirement beneficiary. There are more than 1,000 retirement beneficiary, in which most of them are individual, and there are also companies as well as events. And the carbon exchange participant grew nicely from 16 in September 2023 to 107 in February 2025. And what is about the retirement feature? Well, this is the retirement feature that will be useful for the buyer. All the retired carbon credit will be shown transparently on the SRN website. On the right side, you can see the view of the SRN website for the retired column, and you can see all the name over here that's been retiring these credits. And on the left side, you can see that this is a retirement confirmation that is produced by IDS Carbon System for those who's doing this retirement through the IDS Carbon. So over here also there's another unique feature. You can see that there is an advantage of buying Indonesian carbon credit. Over here we can see a unique number, a unique serial number of the SPE, of the carbon credit, because for each ton of the carbon credit issued by the SRN, they will have a unique number. So no matter who buy the credits and whoever doing the retirement, you can trace it back to the SRN. And if you'd like to join us, well, this is a little bit of requirement to register as user. First of all, you need to be a legal entities. So individual right now cannot register themselves. You need to go to the legal entities. We will need some documents like business registered number, like article of association. We need the form that you will be filled, and you will appoint at least two administrators, two PIC, to act on your behalf in the system. And there's also registration fee that need to be paid, but we waive it and at least until September 2025. So it is free for now. This is the steps to become a user of IDS Carbon. The first step is filling this form. This is a pretty easy form to fill. And after that, we will guide you all the way to the last step. And there are various benefits are available when you join IDS Carbon now. The registration fee is free at least until September 2025. There are no listing fee at all for the project owner, for the project developer. There's no other fee, no membership fee, no annual fee, and no dormant fee for users. So you can open the account and doing nothing, and we will charge you nothing. The fees that will occur is only when you are doing the transaction. And on the flip side of it, if you are joining us as the user, then you will have more information and more access to the development of Indonesia carbon trading landscape. As a buyer, what can you do after you buy carbon credit? Of course, first of all, you can resell it if you want, as long as you haven't retired the carbon credit, and you can sell it on the regular and negotiation market. You cannot resell it on the auction and marketplace because that rights is reserved only for the project developer. Now, you can also retire. Of course, you can retire through the exchange and your name will be shown on the SRN system. And you can also retire on behalf of other parties. It might be your client, it might be your shareholders or your affiliate. You can do it through our system. So there are three alternatives if you would like to participate in the international carbon trading. First, if you are a foreign entity, you may register yourself as IDS carbon user and you can do in the transaction and retirement by yourself. Second one, if a foreign entity then own, let's say, an affiliate company or a subsidiary in Indonesia, well, the legal entity in Indonesia then can register as IDS carbon user and doing the transaction on your behalf. Or the third one, if you don't like the fuss of opening an account on IDS Carbon, but you would like to retire for your purpose, well, you can buy and retire via an intermediary who already registered as IDS Carbon user. So you can just pay them directly and have your name retired right away on the SRN. So you just need to find the correct one or intermediary who would like and wants to do that for you. So before I close my presentation, I think there's some FAQ that you would like maybe to hear, and I would like to address them early. For example, first one, when will the nature-based credit issued by the SRN, since Indonesia is one of the most potential and the biggest carbon credit issuer in the term of nature-based? Well, the Indonesia government is targeting this year, 2025, as the first year of the first nature-based credits official by Indonesia will be issued in this year. So we just need to wait because the government still try to harmonizing all the regulation to ensure that the credit is robust enough. The second one, are these a 6.2 or 6.4 credits? Well, these credits could be both because for 6.2 and 6.4, from Indonesia's interpretation of the Paris Agreement, both needs the corresponding adjustment. So this credit is already embedded with the corresponding adjustment. So we just need to see how to claim it under 6.2 or 6.4. The third one is the letter of authorization available. Well, the letter of authorization can be made public. It is actually can be seen by the public, and we can share you later, especially if you are a prospective buyer and want to negotiate with the seller. We can show you the letter of authorization, but it is actually available. Does it mean that Indonesia has achieved the industry target for the vintage share of the credit? Well, yeah, under this current regulation, Indonesia will give the authorization if Indonesia ourselves has achieved our own industry target for the given year. So this is a confirmation that at least from the energy sectors, they have achieved their industry target for the given year. Next question, what methodology used by the SRN? Well, SRN using the UNFCCC methodologies. And actually, not only we are using UNFCCC's methodology, the SRN also will align with Paris Agreement crediting mechanism methodologies. And also, SRN has what we call a methodology panel team. So any project developer, anyone can propose a new methodology to be reviewed and then can be accepted, including some of the methodologies already used by other international standards. Next question is there any SRN methodology or PD documents in English? As of now, the SRN and the methodologies are still available in Indonesian language, but the government is already on their way to upgrading this. So later, maybe hopefully soon, the SRN methodologies will be available in English. As for the PD documents, the DRAM and the LCAM, we should ask our next speakers because they are the project developer, should they want to provide this document in English. Next question is, are the credits CORSIA eligible? Well, as of now, the SRN has not obtained the eligibility from CORSIA, but the talks is underway, and it is related to the last question. Is there any plan for mutual recognition with other standards? The SRN, the Indonesian government, already been start the discussion with the Vera, Gold Standard, CORSIA, as well as ICVCM to try to find a way to mutually recognize each other. So this is a development, and it's an exciting development that we should wait in the future. And with that, I will close my presentation. Feel free to shoot your question on the Q&A section. And if you have anything you would like to consult to us, you can visit us on support at .idscarbon@ids.co.id. Thank you very much. Over to you, Pak Chris.
Okay, thank you, Pa Edwin. Such a comprehensive explanation, and you also covered the question in the question box. It's really advanced. Thank you, Pa Edwin, for pre-answering the discussion. Okay, the next speaker is coming from project developers, and already present here with us is Bapak Alde Ervian, representing PT PLN Nusantara Power, one of the project developers listed in IDX Carbon. Pak Alde will take us deeper into the project, especially the Muara Karang new power plant projects. Pak Alde, we are ready to hear you. Time is yours, Pak.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alda Ervian. I serve as Senior Officer of Environment Management 2 on behalf of PLN Nusantara Power. And then in this morning, this afternoon, me with my team, Miss Hilda as my manager, and then our business development team. First of all, I want to express my great gratitude to be here to speak, to explain our carbon project expose that held on Muara Karang Combined Cycle Power Plant Block 3. Okay, this one is PTPLN portfolio. As you know that PTPLN Persero 100% owned by the government, and 99, almost 100% PLN ownership in each subholding and subsidiary. There are so many subholding and subsidiary and also association company. PLN Nusantara Power and PLN Indonesia Power is a GenCo of a PLN, and then PLN Icon Plus, and then PLN Energy Premier Indonesia. This one is group structure of PLN Nusantara Power itself. Those are several business process that we can offer to you all. I can give you an example. PLN Nusantara Power Services that works on operation and maintenance service, and then EPC, and then spare parts provider, and so on. This one is PLN NP at a glance. PLN Nusantara Power has total electricity production more than 67,000 gigawatt hours, with employee more than 5,000 people. Our vision is to be leading and trusted generation company for sustainable energy in Indonesia and global market. And the status of PLN Nusantara Power is one of several subholding of PTPLN established in October 3rd, 1995, with the total assets more than 300 trillion rupiah. These are our operational area with the total capacity more than 18,000 megawatt. Consists of several type of power plant: coal power plant, gas power plant, diesel power plant, hydro power plant, and solar power plant. Okay, we jump into the main point of our presentation. We know that climate change is the real threat for life. This image taken in Muara Baru, Jakarta, North Jakarta. This image is a stark representation of the phenomenon of climate change, as we know that this tragedy affects by sea rising of sea levels, and then extreme weather and environment degradation. So we must try our best to mitigate and take action to this event. Like the others, more than 140 countries in the world, Indonesia, one of those community committed to achieve NZ by 2060. As IDS Carbon mentioned before, that Indonesia has ratified Paris Agreement 2015 at Act number 16 in the year of 2016. Indonesia commitment with enhanced NDC, 29% with unconditional and 41% with international support. So let's achieve NZE together with carbon trading. Those are our green solution that align with Indonesia commitment on NZE. The first one is energy efficiency, and then gas combined cycle, more efficient coal plant, renewable energy, and co-firing biomass. From those program initiatives, we can get our CO2 reduction that become net positive carbon credits. And then the surplus, we can go into carbon trading itself. This is a scheme of Indonesian carbon market. We know that we can use allowance, or we call it PTBA-PU, and then SPE, or Indonesian Certificate Emission Reduction. And then maybe this year or the next year, our government will publish the carbon tax itself. This is the mechanism cycle of publishing ICER. The first one is project planning, and then continue with project design document making or creating, PDD, that prepare with the guidelines published by Ministry of Environment of Indonesia. And then the next step is PDD validation, helped by validation and verification body, that is independent organization. And then next step is registration in SRN website of Ministry of Environment. And then mitigation action achievement report making, and continue with verification, once again with validation and verification body that assess methodology and monitoring plan. And then in the end, we can claim our carbon credits as SPA. This one is one of our projects, one of our carbon projects in PLN Nusantara Power. Now we have three carbon projects, and those are Muara Karang, Muara Tawar, and then Sumbagut 2 peaker. This is our site plan of Muara Karang combined cycle power plant that consists of 4 emission source. We have coal-fired power plant, Unit 4 and Unit 5, and then we have 6 unit of combined cycle power plant. But in this opportunity, we will discuss the 4th one in block 3 with capacity is 500 megawatt and operation date in 2021 with fuel of natural gas. This is the methodology used in our carbon project. As mentioned before, that our methodology, you can freely access, you can freely download on SRN website. The name is MSEP number 9, with the title is Construction of a New natural gas power plant. This is Indonesian version, as mentioned before, that related to methodology used by UNFCCC with the code of ACM number 25 version 2. At least those are three requirements of our carbon credits claim in Muara Karang Block 3. The first one is the eligibility. The electricity generated by Muara Karang combined cycle power plant is transmitted 100% transmitted to the Jamali interconnection system in Jawa, Madura, and Bali Island. And then the second one is no additional heat produced by the project. And the third one is use of fuels other than gas, no more than 0.01% of the total energy per year. And then this is our additionality, that we face several barriers, several challenges we face on this carbon project. Those are technology adaptation difficulties, and then foreign funding needs, and then operational challenge to achieve maximum capacity. And then not only we claim about our carbon credit, but we also contribute to the sustainable development goals. Those are at least two of our target on SDGs contribution. The first one is target number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, with target 9.4, with focus on CO2 emission production. And then the second one is target number 13, climate action, with target 13.2. This is our project emission reduction calculation. This image represents our project boundary. The first step is LNG supplier supply our fuels to generate electricity on gas turbine, and then enter into HRSG, or heat recovery steam generator, and then the steam can rotate steam turbine and can generate electricity in transformer transmitted to Jamali interconnection system. And then this is a formula to calculate our carbon credits. The first steps is we calculate baseline emission. Baseline emission is calculated with multiplied our electricity generation with emission factor of the grid, and then we calculate with baseline emission in facility. And then the second one is we calculate project emission. This project emission related to our GHG inventory report annually. Once per year, we calculate our GHG emission. And then the third stage is we calculate leakage emission. Leakage emissions come from LNG production that consists of upstream, grid, and leakage emission from facility. At least these two projects has been published, has been issued to our international carbon trading from PLN Nusantara Power. It is of Muara Karang Combined Cycle Power Plant Block 3 that I mentioned before, I explained before. Available credits more than 70 and 7,500,000 ton CO2 equivalent with vintage 2022. And then we have Muara Tower Combined Cycle Power Plant add-on Block 2 with available credits more than 30,000 tons CO2 equivalent. In addition, we have also one carbon projects that listed soon. That's come from Sumba Kedua Picker project in Aceh. Okay. Why we must buy carbon credits or offsetting carbon footprints, at least four positive impacts that you will get. The first one is taking a big step toward carbon neutrality, and then the second is contribute directly to a healthier, more sustainable environment. And then the third one is building a strong green image and branding, especially if your company or your community will enhance corporate image or branding. It will be useful and can be great to enhance your image in public. And then the last one is enhance sustainability metrics and reporting. Depends on what metrics you use in your company. In Indonesia, we use proper, and then sustainability report, ESG scoring, and then there are several awards that help by a government or organization. Okay, and next I will explain a little bit about our program, our green program that help by the carbon funding we get from the carbon trading itself. So there are several programs that we can explain to you a little bit. The first one is our biodiversity program that we call it, the title is Rebuilding West Java Tropical Rainforest with 7 main objectives. We can see the image here. This is the image before our program or our mitigation program. And then this is the condition after our mitigation program. This is condition in 2019, and then this condition shown in 2024. This program focuses on saving critical land, and then we can calculate, we can conserve our potential flora and fauna in this area. This is our documentation of flora and fauna that's seen in this area. We can mention several animal and plants that have several characteristics, IUCN red list, and so on. The next program is Eco-Marine Mangrove Program. These programs transform coastal areas that were previously full of garbage into mangrove forests. This one. The positive impact is an increase in the biodiversity index. And then the next is community development program. We call it the Denting Nusantara program. This program is motivated or background by the stunting rate in the area around our combined cycle power plant. And then the initiative steps of this program consist of creating an early detection application for stunting. We call it Jakarta Gaul. And then creating a community of calcium fluor producers from fish bones. This one is the image of our product become fish bones flour. And then the third initiative is counseling about stunting. Why you must choose Indonesian carbon credits? The first one is we have competitive pricing. We offers to you highly affordable carbon credits, ideal for cost-effective emission reductions. And then the second one is invest in Indonesia's renewable development. As we know before that Indonesia in the roadmap to fulfill our renewable energy targets. And then the third one is sustainability across Indonesia's largest energy network. As I mentioned before, Java, Madura, and Bali Island grid powers more than 41 million people, supplying most of Indonesia's energy. So it will fosters economic growth, creates jobs, and promotes sustainable development in the nation's most populous region. And then the next is verified and trusted, certified. Our carbon credit certified in SRN, the Ministry of Environment, that officially, legally authorized by our government. And then the last is driving carbon neutrality and environmental sustainability. Okay, thank you. That's all for our presentation. Please kindly contact us in this contact number or our website or our email, or you can just kindly scan this barcode, or you can access with this link. So we will wait you to discuss more, to discuss deeper about our carbon projects. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Ada. Applause for Pak Ada from PLN Nusantara Power, who have presented to us the properties of Muara Karang projects and other properties of Muara Karang that is not written in the drum. Some of us also may be ready to buy Muara Karang also, but hold on, because we still have one more presenter today, Bu Asri Fitri, or Bu Asri, representing PT PLN Indonesia Power, has been with us today, and Bu Asri is ready to explain about project of PT Indonesia, PLN Indonesia Power. PLN Indonesia Power having one renewable energy establishment in IDX Carbon, which is Gunung Bugul Mini Hydropower, and it will be detailed and will be presented in detail by Bu Asri. Bu Asri, when you are ready, the time is yours.
Pak Kris, thank you for the time. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce myself. My name is Asri Fitri Luciana, and I am an officer of environment from PLN Indonesia Power. And today I will be exposing about one of our SPI's project, the PLTM Gunung Bugul project. So first, let me give you a brief information about our company. So PT PLN Indonesia Power is a subholding of PT PLN Persero, which is a state-owned company in Indonesia serving for electricity. And Indonesia Power role in the electricity sector is electricity generation, and we are also developing other beyond electricity businesses. So as of 2024, our area of operation is all over Indonesia. We are managing 21.4 gigawatts of power plants, and it consists of 10% renewables and 90% non-renewables. And PLN Indonesia Power has long started its journey in carbon management. In 2008, we have begun our first development of international carbon credit in the Vera for our Gunung Salak geothermal power plant. And in 2009, we have successfully issued the VCS project and making it the first VCS in PLN Group. And year to year, we have been developing our carbon management from beginning our GSG report verification in accordance to ISO 14064-1, joining and also receiving award from Ministries of Indonesia. And we also issue a renewable energy certificate. And from 2023, we began the process of developing SPIs for Gunung Bugul Mini Hydropower Plant. And earlier this year, we have been a part of Indonesia's first international carbon trading after having issued 3 SPIs in the year 2024. So talking about carbon pricing regulation, so carbon pricing is one of the mechanisms implemented in Indonesia in order to achieve its NDC target. So the government has been encouraging the development of trading ecosystem. So there are some regulations in force. Some are already mentioned by the previous presenter. And some of the regulations are still in its planning stage, including the carbon tax regulation. And one of the mechanism in carbon pricing in Indonesia is carbon offsetting that can be done through SPI trading. So offsetting emission through SPI. SPI is short for Sertifikat Pengurangan Emisi Gas Rumah Kaca Indonesia, or it is an Indonesian's carbon emission reduction certificate. It is an evidence of emission reduction activity that can be issued by registering the project to the System Registry Nasional or National Registry System that is owned by the Ministry of Environment. And by following a series of process and through a lot of verifications, it has finally been issued. So basically the issuance flow process are first we have to register in SRN and fill in the general information. And then we design or develop the drum or the mitigation plan, or we know also as PDD. And then the drum will be validated by the validation or verification body. It is an body that is independent. And then after the validation report has been issued by the validation verification body, we will be designing the mitigation report or PDD. And then the mitigation report will be verified by the validation and verification body. And then lastly, the documents will be reviewed by the Ministry of Environment's MRV team before finally being issued to the market. So now we will be talking about PLTM Gunung Wugul. So PLTM Gunung Wugul is Indonesia's first mini hydro power plant SPI. It is also a quite special project for us because it is the first SPIs that we develop. So there are a lot of efforts that we put in the development, and thankfully that we can present about it today. So PLTM Gunung Wugul is one of the unit that is managed by UBP Merica. And UBP Merica also manages other 16 hydropower plants subunits, and it is distributed in 10 regencies across Central Java with a total installed capacity of 333.78 megawatts. And PLTM Gunung Wugul itself is a run-off river mini hydropower plant with a total capacity of 2.2 times 1.5 megawatts, located in Banjarnegara, Central Java, with the raw water sources coming from Urang River. The commercial operation date is in 2021. And here is the picture of the operation area of PLTM Gunung Wugul with the catchment area of 55.62 kilometers. So here is the PLTM Gunung Wugul's SPI issuance project timeline. So the issuance project began once we submit the drum and LCM or PDD to the verification body. After that, the verification and validation body will be reviewing our documents. And as I mentioned before, SPI's PLTM Gunung Wugul is quite special because it is the first mini hydro. And during the time of our development of this project, there is also a witness from the National Accreditation Company. So PLTM Gunung Mugul is also the first SPI's project that has been witnessed by the National Accreditation Committee. So it's not only reviewed by the validation and verification body, but also by the National Accreditation Committee. And so during the validation and verification, we also have been witness. And after the delivery of the validation and verification report, lastly, we submit the report to the SRN LHK. And then after witness review from National Accreditation Committee and also document review by the MRV's team from Ministry of Environment, the SPE is finally issued in June 2024. So here is the drum validation report and also LCAM verification report from LVV. It is currently in Bahasa, but as a lot of people, especially from the previous session, are asking about the English version, we will soon be developing the English version of this document. So the document will calculate the emission reduction using the methodology from the Ministry of Environment. It is the MSEP 001 for operation of run-of-river hydropower plant connected to grid. And the methodology itself refers to the CDM IMS ID version 810. And after the approval of the Ministry of Environment, PLTM Gunung Mugul SPI has been issued on 28 June 2024 and has been listed in IDX Carbon with a total of 12,932 tons CO2 equivalent SPI verified. And in the IDX Carbon, you can find that we listed 2 years of our vintages from year 2021 and also 2022. And then at the end of 2024, we also have successfully issued 2 additional SPIs project, which is the Priok Block 4 CCPP and Grati Block 2 add-on CCPP. And as of now, all 3 of our SPIs are available in IDX Carbon. And as for the CCPP projects, we also calculated using the MSEP methodology in reference to the CDM methodology. And PLNIP also participated in international carbon trading that was led by IDX last month. And we have also listed all our 3 SPIs and it is ready to buy. So the benefit of the projects are not only for carbon reduction, but it also have the benefits for environment and also it gives a benefit to the social impact. So we have several ongoing sustainability programs. So from Richa Hydropower Plant, we have 4 programs that are listed here. So the first one is Organic Nutrition Production House. It is a house to process agriculture waste and farming waste to reduce the waste. And also we utilize shade plants such as Caliandra and Indigo Vera to keep coffee plantation in its ideal temperature to grow well to help the farmers. And then we also have a program to inject organic nutrition using technology, especially this is for coffee plantation. And we utilize local organic material for the fertilizer. And it is to support a zero waste farming principle. And then we also have a program to improve cultivation pattern in critical area, especially areas prone to landslides, covering an area of 72.2 hectares in Serayu watershed through intercropping system. And then coming from Grati Combined Cycle Power Plant, we have 5 sustainability program. It is named Anugrah Pakarti. First is a composting house. So in this program, we try to reduce organic waste through lotus recycling to be mixed in a compost fertilizer. With the member participating in this program are 10 people coming from unemployed men and also elderly. And then we have a program about waste bank. So in this program, we also try to reduce organic waste to mitigate from the waste being thrown by people to the river and pollute the river. So this waste reduction program is done by productive women and also elderly. In this waste bank, we also produce fertilizer using mini composter. And then we also have a bebek reborn program. So bebek in English is duck. So in this program, we help 7 unemployed men to do duck farming by utilizing a magang pellet. And the members participating in this program are 7 people. And then next we have a program in Ranugrati Lake. It is a program to improve the quality of the lake by distributing ecoenzyme to improve the water quality. And the members of this program are 58 people. And then we also have eco-friendly fish and field cultivation. And the people benefiting from this program are 53 people elderly. And then lastly, we also want to present 3 sustainability programs from Priok Combined Cycle Power Plant. So the first program is eco-friendly teaching aid. We try to reduce waste by recycling cardboard waste and seashells for teaching aid to increase children cognitive development. And then we have a program called Aqua Pro Filtration. It is a utilization of seashells waste to be recycled as water filtration media for water efficiency and catfish cultivation. And then lastly, we have a fish confit program. It is a program to utilize the fish waste found in the unit for fish pellets by Opini Farming Group. Okay, maybe that's all that I can share to you today. Thank you for your attention. And you can find out more about our projects in the link here, bit.ly/greener together with PLN IP, or you can also scan the QR code on the site. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Bu Asri. Such a great presentation about Gunung Wugul power plant. Applause for you. And ladies and gentlemen, we have concluded the presentation. So I believe it's time for question and answer. I think we have abundant of question in this question and answer box. So if you still have an answer, still have a question, you can still put it in the box. But for the first question, we will talk about Muara Karang and Muara Tawar. This is gonna be addressed to Pak Alda, I think. Do Muara Karang and Muara Tawar project have co-benefits other than emission reduction, Pak Alda?
Okay, thank you for the question. As I mentioned before that not only we just claim our carbon credits, but also we get the portion of those benefits of our carbon credits sales that we contribute to our environment as well. As I mentioned before that those are several programs, biodiversity program and community development programs that owned by PLN Nusantara Power. And for additional information that Muara Karang Combined Cycle Power Plant get the gold proper, the highest validity of our environment management in Indonesia that published by our Ministry of Environment. So we can say that instead of we claim our carbon credits, but we also care about our environment, and we also try our best to fulfill our renewable energy targets, power plant in Indonesia.
Okay, so not only that you have implemented another co-benefits in your project, but you also have a recognition from the authority, right, Pak Alde?
Yep.
So yeah, okay. So, but it's not really certified by global certificator, I think.
Yep, nationally certificate proper
I
from
see.
Ministry of Environment.
Okay, thank you, Pak Ada. How about Indonesia Power Project, Bu Asri? Do you have something to say about the carbon benefit?
Yeah, thank you, Pak Chris. As I mentioned before, so our projects are not only give benefits for emission reduction, but also it give benefit for the social and environment. And every projects are already verified by also the same as Nusantara Power by the national verification.
Okay, thank you, Bu Asri. Still to Pak Alde and Bu Asri, this is the question for PLN. About the procedure to determine how many carbon credits to be sold internationally and how many sold nationally to enable contribution to Indonesia's NDC. Yeah, so I see that the project, both of Muara Karang, Muara Tawar, Priok, or Gunung Gugul, is having both authorized credits and non-authorized credit. Can you share to us about how to differentiate and how to determine the amount that needs to be authorized and the amount that needs to be sold domestically?
Okay.
Maybe Pak Alde first. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Pak Chris. Okay, as Pak Edwin mentioned before that if we want to trade our carbon credit, we will need authorization from Ministry of Environment. The one we consider about maybe the portion between domestic market and international market is our business development team's concerns that for now domestic carbon trading maybe get increase to fulfill our emission allowance in Indonesia that published by Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources. So we can divide our carbon credit issuance in our projects, three of our carbon projects, to become carbon credit that can be traded internationally. Before this moment of international carbon trading held by IDX Carbon, we propose to Ministry of Environment from Muara Karang, we issued 7,500,000 tons CO2 equivalent, and then for Muara Tawar, 30,000 tons of CO2 equivalent. And from Sumbagut 2 Picker, we will list it in IDX Carbon soon. Maybe that's about NDC. Maybe it's the domain of Ministry of Environment that can mention further.
Okay, Pak Alde, thank you. Bu Asri, do you want to add something, Bu?
Yeah, Pak Chris. So it's almost the same for us. So before we decide on the portions of the carbon credits that we will be putting in the international carbon trading, as we have to first discuss with our business team. Also, we also consider about the need of offsetting for our internal carbon trading, because some of our coal-fired power plant are also participating in the mandatory carbon trading. And after that, we basically we are supporting the Indonesia's government plan in launching the international carbon market. So definitely we first consider about the need for internal, and then in support for the government, we also contribute some of our portions to the international market.
I see. So basically, what you are doing in consideration, you have in consideration to differentiate between the authorized one and not authorized one is all about the business aspect, right? Uh, whether it can be sold in domestically or internationally, but the NDC itself is the domain of Ministry of Environment, so you don't have any calculation about that. Okay, thank you for the explanation, Pak Ade and Bu Asri. Okay, let's move to another topics. This one is about tax. Maybe I will address this one to Pak Edwin about the tax. How does the international carbon trading relate to carbon tax implementation in the country? That's the first question, Pak Edwin, because we have already another question. Though the second one is talking about the price of carbon credits and comparing it to the tax of carbon tax in Indonesia. The current carbon price in Indonesia is 58,800 tons rupiah per ton CO2, and the current carbon tax is set at 30,000 per ton CO2. Can you explain also the rationale behind this significant gap and its implication for business and environmental initiatives in the country?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the tax is lower than the price of carbon credits, right?
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
Pak Edwin.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Max. And I'm glad that this question's been asked because now I have the opportunity to clarify this opinion or this statement. Okay, first of all, the introduction of international carbon trading is not going to relate to the carbon tax implementation in Indonesia, at least for now, since there's no policy that's intertwined between those two. And the second one, and this is the interesting one, a lot of people thought that the carbon tax in Indonesia is set at 30,000 or less than $2 per ton. So everyone keeps saying that the carbon credit then doesn't make any sense because the price shouldn't be below the carbon tax. Well, the carbon tax is set at 30,000 per ton if the carbon price on the market is below 30,000. That is what's been missing from all the people's perspective because we can read the law in 2021 on the tax harmonization. It is being said that if the carbon market price is above 30,000, then the carbon tax will be at least the same or above of the market price. So rest assured, there's no such thing as the carbon tax lower than the carbon credit price unless the carbon credit price hit below than $2. So there you go. Hopefully it can explain. So if the carbon credit price can be moved above the 30,000, then we can have a better carbon tax also. But again, we still have to wait when the carbon tax will be implemented. That's it, Pak Chris. Thank you.
How about this international carbon trading scheme affect the carbon tax implementation in Indonesia, Pak Edwin? Do you have something to say?
No, I don't think it will be too relate, but I don't know if the other speakers have any other opinion. But as of now, there's no, I don't think there's any correlation between the international carbon trade and the carbon tax.
I see. Okay, noted. Thank you very much, Pak Edwin, for the clarification. And another topic is about the SPE certificate from foreign agency. Is it possible for foreign agency to have a green project in Indonesia and then having the SPE certificate then can be sold in IDX carbon? And then is there any specific rules, Pak Edwin, for foreigner to have the project in here and to sell in IDX carbon?
Yeah. Okay, first of all, from IDS carbon perspective, for the exchange perspective, we are open to domestic and foreign institutions. So there's no problem at all, at least from IDS carbon perspective. But from SRN perspective, from the register perspective, is that possible for foreign entities to own the green project or the SPE? Well, as of now, I think it is possible. Yeah, there's some example of foreign shareholders co-own the project with the local entity. But if purely foreign entity having the SPE or the green project on SRN, I have no information for that right now. Is it allowed or not? But maybe Pak Alda and Bu Asri have some information whether a purely foreign entities can, have the green project on the SRN.
Okay. Is there any such information from you, Pak Alda atau Bu Asri?
As of now, I have no information about that yet. I think maybe you can consult directly to the Ministry of Environment because they are the ones that own the scheme.
Okay. Thank you, Bu Asri. Okay, and still to Bu Asri. Bu Asri, someone is asking about the Gunung Google project and where is the drum LCAM, because in the SRN pages, they cannot find any documents to be downloaded, while the document is available for another project, but the Gunung Google one do not have any documents on that. Is it still ongoing or?
Okay, Pak Chris. I actually have no idea why
Yeah.
it is happening because during our registration, we already submitted all the mandatory documents to the SRN. Maybe after this session, we will be consulting to the Ministry of Environment about this issue. And also after translating the documents, possibly we will make it available on our link.
Okay, thank you very much, Wesley. It's very helpful. Okay, then. And let's see another question. Okay, this is still for PLN. How will PLN emission reduction be? Will there be a green energy transition in the future, or the fossil fuel-based power will be capped to produce carbon credits? Do you want to answer first, Pak Alde? This is about the roadmap of PLN to reduce the emission in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you, Pak Chris. For the maybe roadmap of PLN to fulfill our RUPTL targets that dominance of the big portion of consists of our renewable energy that we call it RF, and we will continue our roadmap based on our RUPTL that's stated by Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources itself as well. And then we as a Genco company as well, Indonesia Power, mandate to build several renewable energy projects in Indonesia. So I think the target is still same based on the RUPTL, and then our carbon credit issuance roadmap, maybe we will divide on our roadmap between SPEI and renewable energy certificate as well, because we have two types of green attributes. Those are SPE and REC. So PLN will divide which one the power plant can issue their carbon credit as SPE and which one power plant can issue REC, maybe like that.
Okay, then. Thank you, Pak. Anything to add, Bu Asri?
No, it's already a complete answer by Mas Alda.
Okay, so yeah, thank you very much, Pak Alde and Bu Asri. I believe that PLN have the green energy roadmap, and by the objective time, all of the coal-fired power plant will be banished or will be gone from Indonesia, right? Okay, and it will be changed to renewable energy one. Okay, thank you very much, Pak Alde and Bu Asri. And another question is about the authorization and using the carbon credits. Authorized carbon credit can be tradable domestically and internationally. Is it correct, Pak Edwin? Yeah. The domestic buyer can still buying
Yes.
the authorized credits.
Yes.
Does that mean credit buyers can select whether to use credit domestically or internationally by themselves?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is an interesting question because once the credit's been authorized, then it will be free to move between domestic and international. So if you only buy the unauthorized credit, you can only resell it again, given that you haven't retired it yet, of course. If you haven't retired the credit, you can resell it again, but only domestically if the credit is unauthorized. So if the credit is authorized, then some domestic companies buying it and want to resell it to the international companies, then it is allowed to do so. So as long as it's authorized, you can move freely between the border.
Okay, thank you, Pak Edwin. So everyone basically can buy the authorized product, but only domestic buyer who can buy non-authorized product, right?
Yeah, yeah. True.
Okay. This is maybe a question that has been addressed before, but can you also elaborate, Pak Edwin? Is there a change for the methodology used by SRN to be integrated with methodologies in international carbon trading, such as gold standard, FERA, etc., and how to avoid double verification? Let's say you are verifying by SRN and then you need to be verified again by FERA. How to avoid that?
Yeah. Well, first thing first, the current SRN methodologies are based on the UNFCCC methodologies, as the other speakers also already mentioned. So from these methodologies, they will also align with the Article 6.4 methodologies if the Article 6.4 methodology is already in place. So yeah, we're still waiting for that. But even if it's not under the UNFCCC methodologies, it is possible for the project developer, for the project proponent to propose a new methodology to the methodology panel team under Ministry of Environment, and they will review the methodologies. And if it's already a robust methodology, then they might accept the methodology to be one of the accepted methodology of SRM. And the other part, we hear that a lot of prospective buyer really want the SRM to be mutually recognized, and mutual recognition is one that currently the Ministry of Environment pursue to FERA, to Gold Standard, to CORSIA, to be CORSIA eligible, as well as to ICVCM to be CCP eligible. So we have to wait when the mutual recognition agreement will be signed or announced by the government. And of course, one of the key points under the mutual recognition, how to prevent double registry or double counting and double claim. It is, of course, the ultimate and the utmost purpose of this mutual recognition. So maybe we have to wait for a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, before really there will be a mutually recognized SRN, but for sure there would be no double counting or double claim on that part.
Yeah, we still need to wait for our government to collaborate with the global registry, and we will update you guys or the attendees about this if you are be a member of our carbon exchange. So we will update every member of IDX Carbon to every updates that has been released by our Ministry of Environment. Okay, so this is maybe not really related to international trading, but because we have Pak Alda and Bu Astri here, I want to ask a question about the ETS of Indonesia. Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources stated that Indonesia's ETS only uses a free allocation scheme and not an auction. Do you have any idea when and how does the auction scheme operate? Is there any clue from the ministry, Pak Ada or Bu Asri? Or maybe Pak Edwin, do you have some information about that?
No, I think I will give the floor to Pak Alda and Bu Asri first as the
Yeah.
actors of the power plant.
Okay, maybe me first. I think that if we talk about ETS, maybe we just focus on mandatory base or mandatory market, as we know that Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources publish a cap of or emission allowance that I mentioned before. We call it PTBAA-PU, yeah, for every phase, the phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3. There are different type of power plant that included into that phase. As we know that allowance is free, allocated by Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, as I mentioned before. But maybe if we want to talk about auction, that maybe this one is one of methodology that we use in IDX Carbon, right? That Edwin mentioned before, that we can use, we can define which method we want to sell in IDX Carbon. There's negotiated trading, regular trading, marketplace, and auction. Maybe the mechanism will be explained further by Edwin, but I just explained about the emission allowance that stated by Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources. Maybe like that.
Okay. Do you have something to add, Bu Asri, from PLN IP? Do you maybe have some insider information from the ministry?
Yeah, Pak Chris. As of now, actually, we are also waiting for the auction scheme. So we have yet have the information. Maybe as Mas Alda said, the only auction that is applied now is the one in IDX. But maybe the reason is also because the ETS is only implemented, the compliance market as of now is for the electricity from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, and other ministries are also developing the ETS for their sector. So I am not sure yet, but maybe the auction scheme will we will have the auction scheme once the other ministers also have their ETS. So we can not only trade in the electricity sector, but also with other sector.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we still have to wait about the action. Okay. Thank you very much. But this is maybe, considering the time, this is maybe the last question about in this session. So it is about the carbon credit price, and the carbon credit price is, of course, different across countries. And how that the pricing work when we buy the authorized carbon credit in Indonesia and move it internationally to Singapore? Is there anything to do with the price, Pa Edwin?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's interesting because the carbon price can be different in different region because of the regulation that regulate that area. Maybe for example, there's some of the carbon pricing could be like hit like 60 or 70 euro or dollar per ton. It could be different in different area. But if we're talking about the credits has more a general price different from the allowances or the ETS. And for the credit, sometimes it depends on, for example, is it CORSIA eligible? Is it consist of corresponding adjustment? Is it CCP eligible? Is it allowed to be used, for example, in the Singapore for Singaporean carbon tax scheme? So it's different. So if we're talking about what happened if then the Indonesia carbon credit sold internationally, then will depend how the buyer country or buyer region will treat the credits. So for example, if one day the SRM carbon credit will be accepted by Singapore government, and then it will be eligible for carbon tax in Singapore, then the price could be like a little bit higher in Singapore. But again, we hope that the buyer directly coming to us, so they don't really have to go, different level of price, because they get the price directly from the seller. I think that's the best option. But if the buyer then doesn't really want to come to Indonesia and they want to appoint another some kind of brokers, then we can just see that how much the brokers can resell it again to the international market. But then again, all the carbon credit is still tied on the SRN, and Indonesia is still tied on the SRN. So we can just take a look on SRN and when or how or how much or how many of the carbon credit will be retired on the SRN. But anyway, hopefully, because IDS Carbon opened the market, opened the exchange for the foreign entities as well, the price could be less volatile compared that if so many brokers, along the way to the buyers.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Edwin, for the comprehensive explanation about the price. So we believe that the price of Indonesia carbon credits will be goes up if more certification body recognize or more countries recognize the Indonesia carbon credits. So yeah, the price itself, we will see whether the price of Indonesia carbon credits will goes up in the future or anything will happen to the price. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. That is the last question that we can cover in this session. I believe that some of you maybe still have various questions in mind. So if you want to discuss about your question, don't hesitate to contact us via email. So maybe we can arrange another session, maybe private or online or virtual or in person with you to discuss more about the opportunity in Indonesia International Carbon Trading Scheme. And we also will collect all unanswered questions that have been raised in the question box today. And we will blast the answer to the attendees in the beginning of next week. But please, before you exit from the room, please kindly check your chat box in Zoom chat box. And you can find a form there. Please fill out the digital form, the attendance questionnaire, and later we will distribute the materials to those who have filled out the form. And for today, I regretfully need to wrap up the session. Thank you very much, Pak Edwin, Pak Alde, and Bu Asri for today's discussion. We really appreciate your comprehensive explanation, your discussion, and also thank you very much for the audiences here. Thank you for your time, and we are waiting for your participation in Indonesia International Carbon Trading. Goodbye, everyone, and have a nice day.
Thank you Pak Kris, Pak Edwin.
Terima kasih, Pak
Thank
Alda.
you,
Terima
Pak
kasih, Bu
Alde,
Asri.
Bu Asri, Pak Edwin.